Don't buy XRP, Ripple, XLM, Stellar, or Bitcoin until you see this one chart. What is that chart, you might ask? Well, let's dig into it together. And we're going to start off with a little bit of news with Bitcoin with trying to get above 73,000. There's a lot of information that you can see within TradingView, just pulling up the little bit of news. But what I found kind of interesting is the liquidation heat map for 24 hours. If you don't really understand what's going on in this chart right here, the bright yellow points are where there's a lot of buyers or sellers. So we can clearly see that there's a lot of support right below $72,000 and further. And this doesn't even show $52,000. So as you can see just in this chart, we have a lot of strength and support. Granted, that could be shorts. Once it hits that certain level, it could be shorting it rapidly to the downside. Now let's actually dig into Bitcoin's chart, open it up, and let's see these patterns. So first and foremost, oh, we don't want to be in Bitcoin. We want to be in crypto. There we go. First and foremost, I want to thank myself for believing in me. Got a sponsorship, so check out that other video. It's got some pretty good information. If you've been following along in my channel or you've been a member, you have seen a lot of these patterns. And the fact that I got a sponsorship from doing 500 plus videos is pretty cool, I think. So we got this upward wedge forming with Bitcoin. We said, okay, we pushed out of it. It could drop to 52,000. That was a bear trap. So a bunch of people are shorting, they're doing high leverage trades, and it immediately reverses back into the wedge, liquidating a lot of people, whether they had $1,000 in and they were 10xing, and then they just got eliminated almost immediately a few days later. Now, the most important thing is the black downward trend line. We've been trying to break this for a couple months now, and we see that it's struggling, but we have a lot of support within this area. I'll draw a little box for you so you can kind of see the general area of our support. If we get below this previous low area around 64,000, we could expect that continuation downwards. Granted, April 29th is when the Clarity Act is supposed to be passed, which is good for almost all cryptos. And more than likely, if we can cross over this downward trend line, we can start seeing it hold as support and reversing over that 200 EMA, ultimately starting the altcoin season. Now, what does this mean for XLM and XRP? Well, I haven't brought up XLM for quite some time. Stellar is, I guess you could say it's a subsidiary company within XRP. They work on the same ledger. Imagine like eBay. You want to buy something on eBay and you need to do a transfer. You could use XLM to do person to person transfer. XRP is the thing that makes that possible. And just like with Bitcoin, the downward black trend line is broken on XLM. We broke out of the channel. Keeping in mind that this is all just kind of speculation, anybody could put a line on a chart, could be incorrect, could be correct. You could say, okay, maybe this is forming more of a downward wedge because this little top right here around January 10th. But no, we're going to stick with our normal channel. And we see that it is in consolidation and about to test this downward trend line. We've seen this in many, many coins. When this line is broken and it tested as support, more than likely you see a little bit of consolidation, a push up towards the 200 EMA, then a pullback underneath the 200 EMA, and then the takeoff happens. Let's look at this, for example, in XLM. We had the push up, pulled down, got over that 200 EMA, found our resistance, pulled down for quite some time. That was the 12th of May until July 7th or 8th. And then it immediately pulled up over that 200 EMA. The 200 EMA was tired of XLM being below it within this time frame from April until July. It said, all right, you guys got to go up. pushed it up to nearly 6 cents from roughly 2 cents. Major increase in price. And we're kind of looking at the almost exact same thing in XLM currently. So if you haven't stacked a bag of XLM, it's looking better and better as the days go on. Keep in mind this could keep testing this black downward trend line, looking like it's bleeding out. But April 29th is coming up very quickly. And that is beneficial, like I keep saying, for almost all cryptocurrencies, especially the ones like XRP, XLM, Algo, Solana, the ones that are notified within the Clarity Act. It is going to be huge, huge news if that can get passed before the 29th. We have about 3 to 6 more days. I think it was the 13th or the 16th, somewhere in between there, where the banks were going to come back with the Clarity Act, revised with what they want, pretty much trying to take all the money they can from you and not give you any high APY uh, for holding cryptocurrency. But if you are a member, you've seen some very good coins. I'm not going to explain them in this just to try and force you guys to become members, but there's one that's actually up 15% from just a few days ago when I talked about it, and it's got a long, long way to go. So shout out to all the members. 50% of your memberships are going to save animals' lives. We almost have enough to save an animal's life because there's only 10 of you guys. I want to get 20 of you. So if you guys feel that $10 for a month is worth it, definitely become a member, knowing you're saving animals' lives. And I can guarantee you, you guys would be up well over 50% by being a member, seeing those other coins that I promote. And I will do another video for you guys today. But XLM is looking prime. It is doing everything it's supposed to. It's following my strategy personally. It is outside of the channel, but that's not a reason just to enter because it's outside the channel. We've seen many coins push out and immediately pull right back in. You have to wait for confirmation. But RSI is building higher lows. Let's check out the volume. Volume's picking up a bit. Excuse me. And we've seen XLM do major pumps after the long consolidated period, breaking over downward trend lines, 600% easy. And when you guys don't see it, you could just draw a downward trend line. What happened when we zoom in on XLM? More or less, that's a downward trend line. And it pushed up over that trend line, tested it as support twice, consolidated from October 10th until November 5th, and then had 600% gain within a fraction of that time. It was maybe a week or two, but you wait an entire month for this consolidation period. That's excluding all this stuff back here. So breaking downward trend lines, getting over the 200 EMA, very important. We are breaking the downward trend line. Now the 200 EMA is the next step. Keep in mind it can push up, retrace, and then take off. So you could be stacking a bag now, you could be waiting, but let's actually dig into XRP. XRP, like I have these vertical yellow lines placed here, this is the important week for cryptocurrency, for the Clarity Act, and for anybody who's trying to make a dollar within the market. I placed this yellow vertical line here as an example. Take a look at the RSI. We have this push down with the purple. It pulls up, pulls back down, forms a W, and then once it crosses over that yellow and finds it as support, then you can see on the chart we push from $1.82 up to $2.42. Looking at the RSI down here, we push down, we're forming a W, we pushed over the yellow. Now if we can test this yellow as support, perfect timing for whenever they're going to do the Clarity Act revisions. It's lining up perfectly. It's just a matter of time, if they get this Clarity Act to go through, to have this purple line test the yellow line as support, a little bit of consolidation, and then push into the overbought, which would essentially be pushing this up potentially to that 200 EMA. I would imagine a little bit of a pullback, testing the trend line again, and then finally taking off. Keeping in mind the 618 is up here at $2.52, which is more than double or 100% gain. So you got the possibility to get this push out of the channel. If you have not been stacking your XRP, whether it's up or down, you guys are missing out. What I personally do, I'm not a financial advisor in any way. I would personally take $50 of every paycheck and say, this is dedicated to XRP. I know I'm not going to touch it. It's only $1.33 right now. Yes, $50 may not be much, but I don't see it as 50 bucks. I see that $50 being up here at $5 per coin. Say you get 50 XRP, 5x your money before a retracement down to the previous all-time high, and then it is price discovery, and we have absolutely no idea where XRP could be going after that, but more than likely up to 10 to 18 to $25 or higher. Keep that in mind. $1.33 turning into 20 bucks. Yes, it seems absurd, really, especially if you're a stock market trader. It seems insane, but going back to previous history, whether it's Bitcoin or any various altcoin, we see those major pumps. I actually saw a video on Warren Buffett saying when Bitcoin was 21,000, he's like, yeah, we're not in the market for 5% gains. Bitcoin's at like $60,000 now. So small percentage, Warren Buffett. I know you were saying that Bitcoin it's all just speculation, but speculation does pay. Yes, he could be one of the best investors in the market, but cryptocurrency is the new market, man. So you got to change your mentality and understand what the future is about to hold. Japan is allowing XRP in their banking system, as you can clearly see with the market manipulation on October 10th, and I constantly talk about it. In this time frame, let's draw a box. October 1st to the end of October, in this time frame, is essentially when Japan was testing XRP on Bloom Network. If you haven't seen that video, it's one of the videos in the past, which is very strange because if you're testing a network, you want to see what its strengths, if it can sustain the amount of money being moved around in the market. And clearly, something happened within that month besides market manipulation, Japan testing the XRP ledger, and now that it's at an absolute low, Bitcoin starting to get support and build a base. XRP is going to be following suit with Bitcoin. If Bitcoin starts its reversal, XRP can easily break out of this channel. And you guys may be like, I'm going to wait till it breaks out of the channel. Well, you're missing out on some pretty good gains because this coin just pushing up here, that's 33%. Doesn't seem like a lot, according to Warren Buffett, but 33% is pretty damn good. And once it breaks out of that channel, you're going to have a flood and a slew of investors, institutions buying up this coin that is extremely undervalued. And this thing will just start skyrocketing from its current price point to where I am first expecting our major sell off. Granted, there's resistance on the way up. 286%. You say, Neil, why would I buy XRP instead of XCN or XLM? Well, because XRP is the foundation, just like Ethereum. It's highly backed by a lot of things, whether it's applications being built within the platform, but XRP is used for global transfers. If there's any bank in the world, they want this coin. As of right now, they're acting like it's nothing to them because the Clarity Act has not gone through. But in the near future, by I'd say 2030, minimum, we will not see XRP below this price point, $15. And that's completely underestimated because we could be seeing minimum 25, minimum 50 by 2030. And ideally, I think we are going to be up here around $100 by 2030 or way, way higher. We've seen it happen in Bitcoin. We can easily see it happen in XRP. That's 7,000% increase in price, allowing XRP staking. You can earn more holding XRP within a platform than you could just holding your money in a bank. That is what they are scared of. That's why they want to hold and restrict the APY for the people, because they realize if everybody switches to cryptocurrency and doesn't need a bank anymore, how are they going to make money besides selling you a house and then charging you taxes and property tax and all that? $100 minimum. I imagine, I mean, it seems absurd now, but give it half a decade, 37,000%. We've seen it happen in Bitcoin. We've actually seen 60,000% in Bitcoin with major moves. So 861, not out of sight in my mind. You have the opportunity to stack your XRP at $1.34, $1.35. Don't miss out on the life-changing wealth exchange with XRP, with XLM. You could buy Bitcoin, but you have way higher RIO with a coin like XRP. So get in before the rest of the institutions get in. Once we break out of this channel, it is going to be an insane game, and a lot of you guys are going to be panic selling on the way up when really you should constantly be stacking it, knowing that you missed the opportunity at $1.33. You still have the opportunity at $2 to $3 to $5 on the way up. It's all laid out for you. Like, subscribe, write in the comments below. Shout out to Doug for constantly doing that. And good luck. Have fun with it. I will see you guys on the next one.